Morning, Jackie.
Good morning.
Morning, Dave Pickering.
All are just on time, folks.
That. So we are at 7:15, so we are going to start. Welcome to your morning meeting number 1480. I'm your host president, Mark Dixon, and shout out to executive board members, Rotarians, guests, friends. Please rise for the singing of O Canada. Thank you for that. Normally at this point, we do our inspirational moment, but this morning we're going to change it and talk about an inspirational woman. We received news this week that our dear friend and cherished fellow Rotarian Flora Fitness passed away suddenly. I found this photo of Flora doing one of the things she loved to do most, spending time with her Rotary family. Jill Bowman, a close friend of Flora's, shared the following with me and asked me to share it with you. A couple of weeks ago, Flora was diagnosed with brain cancer and had surgery. Post-op complications required a second surgery, and as she was recovering and slowly improving in hospital, unfortunately, a pulmonary embolus ended her life on Tuesday. Wayne, Flora's husband, asked Jill to share the news with all the members of our Rotary Club. Once we recover from the shock, Jill will contact the family and share with Wayne's permission any further information. I asked Jill if she had any suggestions for how we could appropriately remember Flora, and she said, Flora was not one who ever wanted anyone to make a fuss over her, so I'm not sure what would be an appropriate remembrance. However, this Thanksgiving weekend, I will be giving thanks to the Rotary Club of St. Albert for bringing her into my life as a friend and fellow Rotarian. Flora joined Rotary and our club on November 1st, 1995, and served as president from 2011 to 2012. Now, I'd just like to take a few moments and stop sharing this and provide anyone with an opportunity to share a thought, a memory about Flora, and quiet reflection is also appropriate. So once the family makes a formal announcement. We will do a social media post to share to our communities, and we will obviously be discussing opportunities to honor Flora's memory as a club.
Natalia, are you okay?
Are you all right, Natalia? I'm sorry, it is kind of a shock. I should have talked to you in advance. I apologize for that. So let us move on to introduction of guests. Daria, maybe you could introduce your guest.
Yes, we have Linda Maul with us this morning. So welcome, Linda. She's our presenter today, and I will give a bit more of introduction to Linda just before her presentation.
Thank you. Welcome, Linda.
Good morning, everyone.
Do you have any other guests? Is there anyone? Actually, Anita, you had a great suggestion about the restaurant. So at Ricky's, can you just tell us, John, can you tell us who's there at Ricky's?
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I'm going to introduce two guests. My friend Steven is joining us. Sorry, hard to point the camera. He's from one of the Edmonton clubs formerly. He lives in St. Albert, and he's just checking us out. I'm really happy we have Rebecca with us today. It's great that she's given role with permission to come to Rotary. So for Rotarians, we've got Kathy, we've got Andre, we've got Ed, we've got Mark, we've got the second Ed, we've got Doug, we've got Scott, and we have Robert, and we have me. So that's our room.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Welcome to the guests there. And with that, we will do what we can to go here. And let's regale them with the welcome song.
Welcome to Rotary, glad you are here. Come shake our hands and share a friendly cheer. Whether from near or whether from far, we're glad you're here. We hope that you will like our little song, because we're proud of St. Albert, and you'll agree our club enjoys some great camaraderie. So we do what we can to help with the needs of our community, with our friends at Rotary. With our friends at Rotary.
Awesome. So, Daria, if you would please introduce our guest speaker.
Sounds good. Just give me 1 second here.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. So Linda Maul is the executive coach, author, and retirement coach. She is a serial entrepreneur, founder of Corporate Source Inc., Creating People Power Inc., and more recently, Accountability by Design Inc., with over 30 years of leadership experience. She's a credentialed professional certified coach with the International Coach Federation, a mentor coach who coaches other coaches in preparation for the credentialing process, and LEED certified for healthcare coaching. Today, she coaches a diverse group of senior leaders who share a hunger to grow and stretch either in their current role, into a new role or promotion, or into retirement. Linda's favorite volunteer role has been the resident coach for leaders at the United Way Capital Region for the past 3 years, and more recently on call as a coach for the leadership team at Kids with Cancer and Ronald McDonald House. All of Linda's work is built on her philosophy that nothing changes unless you intentionally change your perception, your behavior, and take action. Linda's guarantee in every coaching conversation is to gently ignite purposeful perceptual disruption. She talks softly but carries a big stick. On a personal side, Linda loves writing, dancing with her husband, Lorne, gardening, renovating her 105-year-old home, but most of all, time with family and friends, grandchildren and children. Life is simply delicious for Linda. So welcome, Linda. And I did not write that.
And maybe I should unmute myself and everybody could hear me. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. You caught my heart this morning as I just came back from 3 days in Lethbridge with my sister-in-law in palliative care with cancer. So, yeah, I'm in the right place this morning. So thank you for that. Good company. So as I sat and prepared for this presentation, I really wondered what I could bring to a group of people who are born to serve. And I also realized that I feel like a comrade on that journey because I believe my whole life has been designed to serve. So I'm just going to share my story and pose a few questions that I hope ignite your thinking and bring some positivity to your thought process and to your life. So from my perspective, disruption fuels opportunity. Opportunity fuels innovation, and innovation fuels growth. So in March of this past year, we came back from COVID, or from Palm Springs about mid-March to COVID. And so the first week I was back, oil and gas prices dropped and my clients started laying off fast and furiously. So I was part of that journey. Hurts your heart. The second week, COVID hit, and all of a sudden everybody was home. And again, clients were wondering where they were going to go, how long would it last, all the questions that each of you asked in that process. About 3 weeks later, I was walking with my husband. We go for an evening walk. And on the way back, I was about 2 blocks from our home and I could no longer walk. I had no air in my chest. I had no strength in my legs, and an entirely new experience for me. I'm just blessed to be quite healthy. And so I struggled for about a block, and then my husband literally carried me for the second block. And we got home and I sat in a chair and I got my breath back somewhat. And my husband phoned the doctor and I ended up in emergency, and there was nothing wrong with me other than stress and anxiety. So I was carrying the pain of everything my clients were going through and our colleagues who some lost their business overnight, and our friends who had been laid off, some of them. And for the first time in my entire life, I had had an anxiety attack. So as I work with my clients today, and as I do this journey personally, I want everyone to be conscious that we're all vulnerable, and the care starts with ourselves. We need to look after ourselves first so that we can look after the rest of the world and bring joy and happiness and stay a valuable contributor to our community who needs us more than ever. So that's my starting place. is that the disruption can actually create innovative ways of stepping into the same issues and moving through differently. I've not had another anxiety attack. I coached all summer through all of the changes, continue to coach. And today I still feel very strong and very much a contributor to the journey that my clients and my colleagues and friends are doing. And so as I speak with you today, I'm going to share some of the strategies that I use that help me stay there. And they were new for me. I've never had to think about that before. So just going to share the journey. Next slide. Thank you. So I started my first business back in 1990. And I can tell you those 10 years were the best ride of my life. We worked in 7 countries. We started an in-house university for Savile Systems, which was part of their sale when they sold to a US company. We had an office in Edmonton and Calgary. We really were having a lot of fun, and we were making a huge difference in the world. And then came 1998. And I was just back from a project in Kazakhstan with hurricane hydrocarbons. And all of a sudden, clients were calling and canceling projects. So we went from full out, flat out, just like the rest of Alberta in late 1997 into 98. And then boom, it just died overnight. We had 3 clients, 3 large projects that didn't pay. Savile sold. So we lost that work, which was about $250,000, I think. We closed the office in Calgary, and we eventually worked out our lease on the one in Edmonton. And I semi-retired for the first time in 1999, early 1999. And just thought I would have all those happy memories forever and I would quietly just retire into the sunset. Well, it turns out this is my fuel. Coaching and working with leaders is my fuel. So 2000, I started solo again. And again, it grew. And so we hired staff. We moved into an office on 51st Avenue with a training room. And again, we had just a blast. It was so much fun. And I decided to take my executive coach trainings. I went to Royal Roads University. And so we came back, I think it was about late 2019. I was having trouble, or 2009. I was having trouble remembering exactly the timeline. But we took the month of August off and came back in September. And when we left August 1st on holidays, we had a full slate through until February of the next year. And we came back in September and the phone started ringing and everything got canceled. Like everything got canceled. There was nothing. So I had to lay off my own staff. I still had a lease. I still had space. I had to pay the overhead. So I didn't get paid for a few months as we tried to just cut back all the expenses we could. And finally, that lease ran out again. And I'm a slow learner sometimes. And we moved into smaller space because by the time the lease ran out, the business was picking up again. And so we moved into smaller space in 2010. And about 2014, I thought, I really do think I should retire. And so the woman that was working with me, many of you may know her, Michelle Devlin, bought the company at that time, which was Creating People Power, the second company I started. and she still runs that today. And I did decide to retire, and that lasted about a year. And then I was bored to tears again and missing it desperately. And so started Accountability by Design, which is where I am today. And as I said, that also grew perfect. It's been 3 or 4 days a week now for a couple of years. And in January, I said to my husband, this is going to be a 3-day gig. I want to do other things. My sister-in-law was already not well, and our grandkids were getting older and they're teenagers. So the only way you can see them is if you actually are around some of the time and available. So I thought 3 days a week would be great. And so watch what you ask for, because I came back and March was COVID, and here I am exactly 3 days a week, and being able to manage it beautifully and have a great balance. So COVID was very disruptive for me personally, health wise initially, and business wise over the summer and early spring. But at the end of the day, it has been such a gift. And as I reflected on each of these other hits that we took along the way in my 10-year cycle, I realized that they've all been positive changes in my life. And I'm not sure I would have made some of those changes had I not had that slap upside the head. So maybe our world needs a little bit of disruption, as sad as that feels some days for sure. Okay, next slide. As I reflected, I realized success would not have happened without my community. And I know that I sat in on a Rotary call in Lethbridge yesterday morning at 7 o'clock with my brother. So got a sense of what your meetings were like, and I know who you are. I know many people who are part of Rotary, and community is Rotary. And without my community, without my colleagues and my clients who have challenged me, supported me, stayed close to me even when there was nothing going on, who really believed that we made a difference. That is what held my feet to the floor and gave me the fuel to keep going, even when I didn't want to, even when I felt like we weren't making enough of a difference, and needed to do something different, do something more, change it up. They were always there to do that journey with me. And Daryl and I talked earlier, just texting, a dear friend of ours, Loie Unwin, who passed a few years ago now, was one of those colleagues who supported me throughout the journey. And I believe she was a Rotary member as well. This has been more relevant during COVID than ever before. And so when I think back to my career, I've never valued my community as much as I have over the past few months. And I wonder if some of you are feeling the same. I know my clients are constantly looking for connection. So even clients who previously would have chosen a phone call are saying, could we have a Zoom meeting today? I just need to see your smile. I just need to have that connection. So I know that the 3 charities that I support, which are not coincidentally all about children, I believe children are our future. All 3 charities are hurting in very different ways, as early as this past week or as late as this past week. So 2 of them have had more layoffs in the last week, and all of them are challenged with fundraising, and yet the the needs are escalating. So the needs are escalating, the dollars are decreasing. And I think next in November, I think Karen Link is speaking to you from Volunteer Alberta, and she will share some of those numbers and statistics. So the community needs us, but we also need that community. And so how can we support the community differently? And when I went out to some of the senior leaders that I know in different volunteer organizations in preparation for this conversation, the question I asked was, how can we help differently? How can we rethink this? And the common answer that I heard was we can bring our skills and expertise to the table. We can volunteer as the professional leaders we are and bring expertise to support their decision making and journey, because the decision making is far more critical than it's ever been, and they're being challenged in brand new ways. So if you do have leadership experience, that might be one way of giving back differently. And I do know that you already are a big part of our community, and I thank each of you for the work you do, because we're all better for that. Next slide. There is uncertainty in business. None of us know where this is going for sure. And there's uncertainty in our society as a whole. And it can suck the energy right out of our shoes if we constantly are caught up in the media, in the news, in the conversations that foster negative energy, which causes stress, which causes disease, which doesn't serve any of us very well. So Robin Sharma says, what if you consciously blocked out a lot of that noise? What if you intentionally use this time to strengthen yourself, to do what you can, to bring values to others? And that's where I'd like to focus the conversation. So earlier, I said I am a positive thinker. Just naturally, that's how I was born, I think. I believe there's possibility everywhere. And so the question I pose for you to reflect on is how you see your world today determines where you will be tomorrow. So if that's true, how do you see your world today? How do you see the people in your world, the community in your world, the work in your world? How do you see all those bits? And how can you move them forward in a positive way? I believe it starts with each one of us. And I believe that our energy influences the rest of the world. And so we need to show up in all of our humanness and and bring all of our energy to the table. So the question that I have for you right now is, we could put the slide down for a few minutes, I think. What has your learning been through COVID? So just take yourself off mute and answer. Where has your learning been through COVID, and what positives have you experienced? Just anybody.
Well, I can share, Linda. We're in a
Great. Daryl, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, known each other for years. I know with our business, I wouldn't say the first little while was exceptionally positive as we received all the cancellations on everything. But once kind of gave a head a shake and realized that this actually opened up a lot of opportunity by delivering our products and services in a different way and adding some different things, we actually were in a stronger position when we look ahead. So it's been a chance to reflect, rebuild, re-energize, reconnect, and look forward to a much more I guess, a greater future when we look forward. So yeah, it's actually, we're very lucky on the health end of things. It hasn't been a negative impact health wise to our family. I mean, I think that would change your perspective pretty fast on the health end of things. But that aside, from a business perspective, I actually think that our opportunities are much greater when I look forward than maybe what we were looking at before. So we've been forced to look at our business differently.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Daryl. I think many of us, anyone else, have that same experience. Charles?
Yes, well, I had that experience in 1980 in the National Energy Policy. And as a result, my company grew stronger because we were able to diversify.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
today, what I find is how important my friends are and how much I miss many of them and many of the opportunities to hug people in that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And that it's interesting for me. I have clients who've never wanted to hug me before who will say, I just want to hug you. Like that's, and we're all craving it, Charles. We all crave that touch. Yeah. Anybody else? What do you experience? Mark?
We just wrapped up a 3-day virtual conference at work. And historically, it would have been your standard conference, in person, guest speakers, etc. But because it was virtual, we were able to afford and schedule in an international speaker that never ever would have happened before. So
Nice.
it was a phenomenal opportunity, and the networking that resulted from that was incredible. So it was an amazing opportunity.
Lovely. And it's not that long ago where clients believed that you couldn't even coach by phone, right? That you couldn't even have that kind of conversation on the phone. And here we are hosting virtual conferences. Lovely. Yeah. Anybody else? What have you learned? What I see.
Hi, Linda. My name's Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
I have the great fortune of working at the Chamber, and we've just been so amazed by the resiliency of our businesses and how so many have been able to pivot and to reinvent themselves. And I think, like many have said already, they're not going to go back to the old way. Their businesses in the long run are going to be stronger. And so that's been really wonderful.
And you know, Jennifer, we take those lessons with us for the rest of our careers and for our business forever. I mean, sometimes you make the same mistake twice, like having big space, but the third time you don't do that. You learn. Yeah. Anybody else? Anita?
Just from a person that's totally retired and have been for a while, it comes, you're speaking, and your information this morning took me all the way back to 1980 and what came through in those years. And my last career through the 90s was as strong as what you have been through most of your years, even though with the downturns, but always the positive thoughts and actions. Actually, you can think positive, but the actions are what determine how you're going forward. And the Rotarians give me inspiration every day. I watch them. They're at their jobs, but they're making them work. And COVID, yes, COVID's there. This too shall pass.
It too shall pass. Yeah. And we'll be stronger, Anita. You're right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we'll have lessons learned.
Yeah.
I call us road warriors, right?
That's a good terminology.
In my portfolio that I take to every meeting, the little tag on it says, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again, because that's where the joy is. That's where the fulfillment is.
I love that logo that you have, the tree. But I don't know who designed it, but it's perfect.
Thank you. And I see a hand up by someone I know well, Colin. You can't hear you.
He's muted.
Oh. Try again. Oh. Maybe your computer's on mute. Nope, we can't get him. Nope. Is there anyone else who wants to jump in while Colin's trying to get his sound working? So what will you do differently moving forward now? So at the end of every week, the question that I ask myself is, what have I learned? And what will I do differently next week? So what will you do differently as a result of this journey? I love that little one that's sitting on your knee, David. Wow. Yeah. What will you do differently now? What's the one thing that sits with you?
More hugs.
More hugs. I'm there. Anybody else? I'll share that for me, it is more intentionality. So I don't have, oh, maybe I do. Hang on. Can you see this book? This book has been my powerhouse during COVID. It's called 52 List Planner. And I've adapted a little bit. I won't need the book next year. I'll still continue it. But at the beginning of every day, I set out my priorities. So I'm doing life far more intentionally than I've ever done before. Nothing is happenstance for me at this stage, other than whatever happens as I'm doing the journey, but I'm very intentional about my actions, back to what Anita said earlier. So I set a priority for work. I set a priority for my community. I set a priority for my family and friends, and I set a priority for my home. And my day does not end until I've completed one single thing in all those 4 areas. So I invite you to be intentional about how you spend your time, because it's precious. We've lost 4 people since March in our life. And it's just a constant reminder that today is a gift, and to use it well, to absolutely jump in and do life as fully, as deliciously as you possibly can, because it's not finite. It's, as much as I believe I'm going to live forever, I know that I won't, and it will end. And I want to know that I lived every day fully. So whatever is important to you, I think, is how you frame your day. So what priorities are you setting for yourself? Where are you investing your time? And how is that different today than it was before COVID? And I can tell you my life was not as balanced before COVID. I have always loved work, always. And I love my family, but a 50-hour, 60-hour week is not unusual. And I'm 74 and still doing this journey. So that speaks volumes to what brings me fuel. It is my fuel. It's what I'm passionately loving to do. So do your life with intention. And I think somebody said COVID reminded them of the value of grandchildren and children and family. And that is a much bigger priority for me today than it's ever been. And I'm reaping the rewards of that. I feel so very peaceful and so very calm on the inside. I also have learned that my work is my fuel. That's part of my life. As much, it's like a big, huge balance wheel. And half of that balance wheel is my family and my friends and my community, and half of it is the work I do and the difference I can make in my community as a result of that work I do. And if either side is out of whack, then I'm not well. And I'm not feeling peaceful and calm and ready to do a day, no matter what happens. I think curiosity has been my number one gift. And I wasn't always curious. I was often very quick to tell, very quick to make a decision. If anyone does disc personality or any of those personality style, I was very much a driver. Get it done fast. I still have on my shelf, I don't think you can see it, or maybe, on my shelf, a captain's hat. The very first business I owned, a very dear friend of mine who did a project with us said, "You are a driver. You are such a director. You will never get the best of your team if you continue to be that director." And she gave me a captain's hat. And every once in a while, when I had a bigger team, now I'm solo again, but when I had a bigger team, the team had the right to put that director's hat on my head and remind me that I was stepping into territory I didn't want to be in. And it has saved my bacon. So being curious, asking questions, inviting people to tell you where they are in the journey, inviting them to share their concerns about whatever is going on is where the gold is. That's where the wealth of information is. So be curious about your family, about your friends, about your community. How do they need your help? And then you can step in a really meaningful way. Celebrate your competence and your credibility. So I do believe that most of us think we're imposters. We have that imposter syndrome where we think, my goodness, why was I invited to speak at this event this morning? I'm just doing life like everybody else is, right? But we all have some credibility, a different skill, different value to bring to our community, to our work, and to our friends. So understand your competence, step into it, step into who you are and bring it to the world. When I turned 70, I said I was going to play bigger. And that didn't mean more money or more international gigs. It meant playing bigger in the difference that I made every single day. So step into your competence, step into who you are, and find the clarity that you need for success. So when I think of the times when I was muddling around in my business or muddling around in my life and unhappy, it was because I didn't have the clarity of where I wanted to be. So if I'm just sitting and mulling on all the mess that I'm in, or the mess that the world is in, I can't see my way through. The minute I get clarity of what I want it to be and where I want to go, the world changes and the steps feel easy and I know I can make a difference. So how you see the world, the connections, the clarity, the curiosity, the conscious decision making, the courageous steps that you take, the community you build are all what will move us through to beyond where we are today, to the positive results that we all want for ourselves, but mostly for our community that we embrace and live and are part of. So I invite you to step into your seas. I invite you to consider the possibilities and the learning that you've had as a result of this last 8-month journey that's not over. There's still more to come. But how do you make it relevant, important, and feel like you're making a difference for you and for your community every single day? Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda. Do we have any questions for Linda? Colin, I don't know if you got your audio fixed, if you wanted to make some comments now.
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
That's the plight of being a cheap father. You see, I've only bought one webcam in our family, and it runs between everybody's computers. So I guess I've learned my lesson. I need to buy everybody else a webcam. So I apologize. Yeah. No, I mean, I just, you know, all I wanted to say, Linda, I mean, it's always great and inspiring to have the chance to visit and talk with you. And the only insight I wanted to share to what you said is I had a great experience with my staff the other day, and I work with young staff. And one of them said, you know, the great thing about this is it sort of lifted a cloud off of me. You know, you talk about resilience and you talk about adaptability, but they acknowledged, and this is a 20-year-old that said, I never would have considered the alternatives and the different paths, you know, had I not been faced with these challenges. So I just, I wanted to, you know, thank you and appreciate reiterating the positive spin that we can put on this and use it to invigorate how we go forward.
Thanks, Colin. Great to see your face. Yeah.
Other questions for Linda?
Hi, Linda. It's Jennifer again. I just feel that Daria booked you to come for me because I gave my notice to my board on Wednesday that I'm retiring at the end of the year. And I'm excited about the future, but I was writing a lot of notes, and I just might call you because this was great. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Anyone else? Anyone at Ricky's? I'm not seeing any movement. Okay. Thank you so much, Linda. Very timely. Really appreciate your sharing your time with us. A side question, Natalia, you're doing well now? Good. Thank you. So, Linda, let me just share this. As a thank you for your presentation at our meeting today, we will be making a donation in your name to the Rotary International Polio Plus program, which is a worldwide program focused on polio eradication. So we will get this certificate to you, and thanks again.
Thank you, Mark. I had polio when I was in grade 4.
Look at that. Oh,
yeah.
All of our planets are aligning this morning. It's incredible.
Now I have tears. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Tears of joy.
Some quick announcements. We had a board meeting earlier this week, and we had some great conversations about meetings, about the upcoming club assembly, and lots of great progress that we're looking forward to reporting at that time. We have our tree planting coming up. I don't know, Doug, if you want to say anything about this. Can't see on the screen here. Oh, he's coming around. There he is.
Okay, so we have 22 adults that are registered, and we have lots of elves and little helpers as well, but we need to get some more volunteers. So as a good Rotarian, what you all need to do is do the courtesy of responding to my email, which is you can decline, that's okay, but we need to know. We're going to take and We're going to investigate all the safety issues with COVID. So come on out, get some fresh air, and join us from noon till 2 on our planning day. Take care.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that update. Talk about planets aligning. World Polio Day is this coming Wednesday. And as I mentioned, our club assembly is coming up on October 22nd. Are there any other announcements from anyone? Flag motion. Laz, do you want to comment on that, please?
Yeah, so at our board meeting, we were talking about buying some more flags. I'm tempted to buy 500 flags right now. But obviously we need to talk to the club about that because that's an expenditure that was out of budget. So I just wanted to explain this. So basically, if we increase our flag count to 1,000, we'd have to buy about 475 flags, and we need to buy some extras for replacements. So we don't have to rush and buy poles and spikes right now, but if we buy the flags in the next little while looking for deals, it'd be a good time, and it'd be about $4,000 max. So I just wanted to put a motion out there that the Ways and Means be able to purchase these flags in advance.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that?
Laszlo, what's our current count for sold right now?
How many flags do we have? Oh, sold about 160.
Nice.
So we're ahead about 160 from last year because we only started this process in January.
With respect, the way the club operates is that becomes a notice of motion.
Yeah.
For the expenditure of $4,000, and so it's a notice of motion, and then we would address it at our next meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you for that, Laszlo. And we will discuss that fully at our club assembly. So if you have questions, please bring them there with you. Amazing program. Incredible things that Laszlo and John and Don and so many others have done to raise funds through an initiative that is just getting better and better every year. So thank you so much for all of your support for that. Our next morning meeting is on the 16th. And speaking of Jennifer, the district chamber is going to be, we're going to be guest speaker, I guess, and it's the National Small Business Week kickoff. So we will be looking forward to that for next week. Birthdays and anniversaries, Sharon Kahn, wife of our wonderful Ash, birthday on October 9th. And Carol Campbell, wife of Douglas, October 15th. And date joined Rotary Scott Mockford on October 11th, 18 years. He's finally legal. And without a further ado, our sergeants at arms and Natalia.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, Mark, I'm just going to point out you actually missed one birthday that is very, very important. Yesterday was Flora's birthday.
Oh,
yeah,
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
it didn't show up on the list.
Yeah, it was on her social media that it was her birthday. So yeah, very sad timing for that. Okay, let's start off this morning with the Chase the Ace.
Chase the Ace, here we go. We have 20.
Did you scramble the names?
I scrambled the names, okay. I scrambled the numbers. So we have 20 people who have consistently been in Chase the Ace. So here we go. Natalia, a number between 1 and 20.
And not 17.
And apparently not 17.
16.
So Sorry, we didn't hear you, Natalia. Our
16.
internet's not great. What was it?
16.
16. That's me. I won.
Liar.
I did. Boo. So
Oh
the
God,
winner
it's even
is
worse. It's even
Kathy.
worse.
All right, Kathy's gonna come up here and pick a card with her mask on. Dun, dun, dun.
With authority, the Queen of Diamonds.
Queen of Diamonds.
It's appropriate for her, don't you
Yeah.
think? Right? The Queen. She pulled the
Queen
Queen.
came by.
But she's still a loser. All right.
Way to go.
Yes. So before we get into fines, why don't we ask the club for some happy bucks? What do we have? Is anyone happy today?
Anybody?
I'm happy. John?
Yep.
Alberta Business Awards of Distinction are tonight, and 2 of your club members' businesses are up for awards. So Kim Bagara, Capital Vision Care, is up for Customer Service Award of Distinction. And the Farmers Market is up for the Community Attraction Award. So we're very excited, and so I've got happy bucks for that.
Wonderful. That's worth being happy for. Is anyone else happy? Or are you a bunch of miserable, grumpy?
I have some happy bucks, but I also, just under announcements, I wanted to ask, we're looking for a history for exchange students, and I can get names back to 2006 from district. So I know Ed Heitzman and anyone else who was hosting kids prior to 2006. If you can send me any information you have, that would be awesome.
Awesome. And to think that those kids that were here in 2006, they're like in their 30s now.
Exactly.
Just put that into perspective. Anyone else happy this morning? Anyone? Oh, Kathy. Kathy's happy because she lost. Look at the green light.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I just wanted to, earlier in the meeting, we talked about flora and memories, and I was thinking 2011, Doug and Robert and I and a few other Rotarians went to New Orleans. It was Flora's year as incoming president, and the one night I remember the most was the presidents all went on a boat cruise, but Flora and Wayne couldn't wait to get back because we were sitting on a patio at the dock waiting for them playing restaurant Jenga. So really good memories, and that's when I got to know Flora. So I'm looking forward to hearing some more memories of her in the future, and I'll pay $5 for that.
Awesome. Okay, last chance. Anyone else happy today? Wow, you were a grumpy bunch of people this morning. So
They look so happy.
yeah. Well, we are going to come into our favorite part of the morning, which is finding all of you. But we want to do it with a bit of a theme. So about a month and a half ago, when we were meeting at Socrates, Flora actually said to me as I sat down after the fines, says, you know, that's one of my favorite parts of Rotary is the fines and the giggling and the laughing. It makes for day. So we're going to make your day today, Flora, and we're going to find these people till it hurts. So let's get started.
Let's get started. So I'm going to start with Rotarians in the Gazette. Always in the Gazette. He has a beautiful picture, and I've just never got to find him. So David, $5.
That's
Jennifer had a beautiful article in the Gazette this week. She's now retiring. So instead of a fine,
at 45. She's retiring at 45. That's impressive.
To spend time with her family. So Jennifer, that's $5 for retiring and leaving the chamber.
I don't know if I can afford it.
And I don't know if I saw him this week, and I don't know if he's on, but that mug of Mr. Monson, Paul Monson, is always in the Gazette. I don't know if I saw it this week, but he gets $5 for looking so good.
Well, you're grumpy people, but you're good looking, so that's important.
There we go. Yes.
I think that we need to hit anybody who has traveled in the last 2 months. So Jerry, Charlene, Laszlo, Craig, who else has traveled? Anyone been on an airplane? Daryl Baker. Oh, and Doug Webster for going to Slave Lake, one of the hot spots.
Kim, put up your hand.
Worth it, Kim.
I think you should find Doug Campbell for traveling to the office and being such a little rat.
Okay, well, we didn't hear all of that. We just heard Doug Campbell's a rat. So,
well, he traveled to my office yesterday, and then he's a little tail
for being a traveling
so
rat.
I think he needs to be fined.
Now, I've got one here. Just a second. We love good manners, so we would like to. Where is it?
We're waiting, John.
Yeah. You just relax. I can't share this with someone because we are a polite bunch of people. We love Colin. Very polite of you, and that's going to cost you $5.
I think we lost the internet.
I think that's $5 for you and $5 for me.
Nice.
Nothing we can do about it.
Gotta love the sensors.
I think we lost him.
Are you done, John? No? Yes? Assuming so. All right. I guess that's it.
Oh, I have a fine from the floor.
Yeah, do it.
Sorry, or maybe Dave Pickering just wants to fine himself. Dave? There was a posting to wish Charlene a happy birthday from Maddie. And so he sent Maddie a wonderful happy birthday wish, but it was Charlene's birthday, so.
Thanks, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Nice one. So we're gonna say
we missed all of that, but we understand it was Dave Pickering that got fined, so we'll throw $100 at him for that one. I don't know.
No, it was a $5 fine.
Okay, $5 it is.
Are you done now?
Oh, can you hear us? Fines from the floor. Do we have any other than Jen? Going once. Who knows if they can hear us?
They all look frozen.
They all, yeah. Do you want to build a snowman? Okay, we're out. Let's just call it a day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was entertaining as always. So please don't forget, we've got lots of good content coming out on social media. Please share it with your networks. We have the recordings of these meetings, and we are going to start sending out the links to the meetings in posts, in emails, so that you can share those as well. Thank you so much, Linda, for your presentation this morning. Thank you to the Sergeants at Arms. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you for everyone for your contributions. And please don't forget, if you need support, we are all here for you. So please reach out, send me a note, send somebody a note. We want to help. We need to be here for each other. Lynn King is there as caring coordinator, And there are many online resources. So please, please, please reach out. Let us know. We want to be here. And if you would please join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it be fun? Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend and happy Thanksgiving.